Love of my life, you've hurt me. You've broken my heart, and now you leave me.
It's just so good. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the channel. I am so excited that you're here because today we're listening to an absolute doozy, Love of My Life by Queen, performed by Marc Martel, absolute legend. For those of you who don't know who Marc Martel is, he's an incredibly gifted vocalist who sounds very similar to Freddie Mercury. Marc provided vocals for the Bohemian Rhapsody Freddie Mercury movie. He does lots of covers of Queen. He's just honestly amazing. Today we're going to be analyzing and breaking down his cover of Love of My Life. He's going to be playing piano. He's going to sing. This is a live cover, so there's no editing done. It's pretty incredible what we're about to hear. So let's dive right in. And if you're not already, I'd love for you to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nick Higgs the Singer. And if you're here on YouTube and you're not already subscribed, well, you might as well click that subscribe button. Piano skills, whoa. Pausing right there before he starts to sing. Piano skills, okay. He can play piano, and it's from memory too. I don't see any sheet music there. I've listened to some of Marc Martel's covers before. It's very easy to say, oh, Freddie Mercury this, Freddie Mercury that, blah, blah, blah. But let's just acknowledge, talented person right here. Very, very talented.
Love of my life, you've hurt me. You've broken my heart, and now you leave me. Love of my life, can't you see? Bring it back, bring it back. Don't take it away from me, because you don't know what it means to me.
It's just so good. I really do love this song. This is one of my favorite Queen songs of all time. I love the slow balladness of it. And there's a lot vocally you have to do in this piece to make it work. I've tried to sing this and it really doesn't go over very well. It's a little too high for me. And I just don't have that ability like Marc has to really easily flip between these registers. Let's go back and listen to that opening one more time. I want you to focus on how he can transition between different registers of his voice. You'll hear elements of chest voice, head voice, and a bit of that falsetto mix at the top.
Love of my life, you've hurt me. You've broken my heart, and now you leave me.
So in the opening, love of my, there was a breathiness in there. Freddie Mercury loved to do that. And I think it's a great vocal tool to be able to add some breathiness in there, because then when you do sing in your chest voice or you do add some power to it, it's that much more effective. If you listen carefully, you'll hear how Marc Martel is maneuvering through those different registers. It's amazing.
Love of my life, can't you see?
Falsetto, head
Bring
voice.
it back, bring it back. Don't take it away from me, because you don't know what it means to me.
So do you hear how much variety is in that voice? This is why Queen is one of the most famous bands of all time. And this is why Marc Martel can do this so well, is because Queen like to add variety. There's different registers, there's big interval leaps, and Marc Martel is doing a fantastic job of paying homage to that original version because he's maneuvering through those registers beautifully. He's just pretty much seamless as he does that. I saw a video the other day from a professor who worked at a musical theater college, and he said something really interesting about vocal technique. It's that we want to get it to a place where it seems absolutely effortless. And Marc Martel obviously has very good technique because it doesn't seem like he's putting a ton of effort into his singing. There is a lot of effort going on with the breath and the vowels and making sure everything's lined up perfectly, but if you watch him, you don't see a ton of effort there, which is good.
Love of my life, don't leave me. You've stolen my love. and now desert me. Love of my life, can't you see? Bring it back, bring it back. Don't take it away from me, because you don't know what it means to me.
Okay, so can we call that verse 2? I don't really know how this piece is structured, but if we say it's verse 2, there was much more power in that verse. This is what I'm talking about when I say variety matters in your singing, because in verse 1, he was giving us lots of that head voice. It was really like, love of my life, can't you see? Those higher parts were breathier. They were more in the head voice. They were lighter. And now in verse 2, sometimes he does the opposite, where those higher notes are actually sung with more power, almost closer to a belting sound. And I've mentioned this in previous videos before, but this is what I like to call musical subliminal messaging. Things that go on behind the scenes that you're not necessarily aware of when you first listen to it. But then you subscribe to me and you watch my breakdown, reaction, analysis videos, and you start to pick up some of these tips and tricks that singers like to use to make their songs more interesting and just to make them a better performer overall. And if you yourself are a singer, then I want you to start incorporating some of these subliminal messages in your singing. I want you to use them because it will make a difference. If you're just a casual listener, then if you listen to these things and you can pick them out, then I think you'll enjoy the music even more. And just before we go back, can we take a second to appreciate the fact that he is playing and singing all of this from memory? And it's a live recording. He didn't record it in the studio first, do all the edits, and then lip sync over top of it. This guy, he's a musician. He's a true musician. Okay, more power in this verse.
Love of my life, don't leave me. You've stolen my love, and now desert me.
So it's so simple, but so effective. It's a strong tone versus a breathier tone. It's simply that. So listen to these big interval leaps. He gives us more sound, more tone in the voice to give us more power. It's so simple, but just listen to how effective it is. Here we go.
Love of my life, don't leave me.
Here we go.
You've stolen my love, and now desert me. Love of my life, can't you see? Bring it back, bring it back. Don't take it away from me, because you don't know what it means to me.
So you hear that, right? You can hear it. Let's go back to verse 1 for just a moment, because it's the same melody, so we can compare. Listen to how he sings that top note in verse 1 versus verse 2.
You've broken my heart, and now you leave me. Love of my life, can't you see? Bring it back, bring it back. Don't take it away from me, because you don't know what it means to me.
So very light at the top, very delicate.
Bring it back, don't take it away from me, because you don't know what it means to me.
Very subtle difference, but so effective. The first one was light, it was delicate. He just placed it there perfectly. The second one, a little more energy. Yeah, that's all it is. If you're a singer, or you're at all interested in singing, or maybe just a casual listener who loves to learn, I want you to listen to this message that I'm about to give you. So I get students all the time who love to imitate other singers. And it's hard not to do, let's be real, because if you're listening to Love of My Life, sung by Marc Martel or Freddie Mercury, you're going to want to emulate what they do. And maybe you want to try that delicate sort of light sound at the top. And maybe you don't subscribe to my channel, so you don't get to learn all of these little tidbits, all these tips and tricks on what singers do to make their singing more interesting. And what I mean by this is if you're a young singer or if you're a new singer, you need to be focusing on creating a clean and clear tone. You have to focus on the breathing technique. You need to focus on technique in general to create a clear sound. Okay, I can't stress that enough. And then once you get more advanced, then you can focus on doing different effects like breathiness or rasp or distortion. All of those things come at a more advanced level. But first, you have to be able to sing with a clear tone. So if we look at Marc Martel, imagine he could only sing in a breathy tone and he didn't have that ability to create that beautiful clear tone. He would not have millions and millions of views on YouTube, I can assure you. And when he started his training, I can guarantee he started learning vocal technique, the basics, to create a beautiful, clear tone in the voice. And then as he got more advanced, more skilled, more comfortable with the technique that he had, he could branch out and try different effects. Take that advice as you will, and let's keep listening.
This is blown over and everything's all by the way. Ooh, when I grow older, I will be there at your side to remind you how I still love you. I still love you.
Oh my goodness. Holy smokes. I mean, one of the greatest singers I've ever heard. The top comment on this video really summarizes how I'm feeling right now. Finally, someone that can play my favorite instrument, Freddie Mercury's voice. The likeness is really uncanny. And I've heard musical impressions, I've heard all that stuff, and I've seen it on TikTok and Instagram. But this is probably the number one that I've ever heard. And I think calling it an impression is disrespectful because Marc is so talented. It's more than just an impression. I love this bridge section. Marc is doing a lot of different techniques that I haven't seen yet. One of which is he tucks the bottom lip underneath or over top the bottom teeth. Look for that in a moment. I'm not exactly sure why he does it, but he does. And it's clearly effective, so I'm not going to say anything against it. The piano part sounds like a Bach minuet or something. It doesn't sound like it should belong to Queen, but it fits perfectly in this ballad.
Who will remember when this is blown over and everything's all by the way?
So can you hear how he adds that breathiness in there every now and then? You can just hear it, especially at the ends of phrases. It's very Freddie Mercury-esque.
By the way, ooh, when I grow older, I will be there at your side to remind you how I still love you.
He does it there as well. I'm not exactly sure why he does that. If somebody knows in the comments, please let me know. Maybe he's explained it in an interview or something like that. My only guess is that it just feels comfortable to shape that vowel with the lips pulling back. My other theory actually is that there's a lot of speculation and a lot of conversation about Freddie Mercury's mouth shape, specifically his two front teeth, and how because they were quite large, it altered his sound. And I think, I can't remember if it was music history or what it was, but when he was a kid growing up, Freddie Mercury, people made fun of him for having big teeth, but then he started to sing and it did affect his sound, but it was so good that nobody really cared. And so maybe Marc is trying to replicate that kind of sound, or maybe he found that as he was learning this music and he was trying to adjust his likeness to Freddie Mercury, that he felt that doing that with the lips made it closer to Freddie. Honestly, I don't know. So leave a comment if you have more information than I do.
I still love you.
Falsetto. So I really don't want to interrupt there, but I think I want to talk about the piano part for just a second. And again, let me know in the comments, but what do you feel when you hear that? I'm trying to piece together why a minuet style piano accompaniment would be in this piece. When I hear that minuet piano style, there's not a lot of heavy chords in it. And so maybe they're trying to evoke some feeling of loneliness or emptiness with just this plain piano part. It's not plain in the sense that it's boring. It's plain in the sense that it's just not thick in texture, which you'd expect. You know, if you think of something like Make You Feel My Love, for example, big, thick chords all the time. You're playing the full chord, whereas this is just playing notes. So I'm kind of getting that vibe. Maybe you disagree, and please let me know in the comments what you think. What does the piano part mean in the context of this song and the story that it's trying to tell and the emotion it's trying to convey? What's it doing? Let's listen to a few seconds of it as we go into this final verse. It's a little thicker at the end there.
Oh, hurry back, please bring it back home to me, because you don't know what it means to me. Love of my life, love of my life. Ooh, ooh, yeah.
He's so talented. I don't even know what to say. It didn't seem like there was a mistake in there at all. And that leads me to another point that I bring up a lot on this channel with singers like Marc Martel, with artists like him. To say he's just talented is such a slap in the face to him. While it is nice to be called talented as a musician, it's great to hear that when somebody says, oh, you're so talented. But the way some people say it is that you're just naturally talented.
I wish I had natural talent like you do.
It's kind of a backhanded compliment if you think about it. So don't be surprised if you say that to a musician and they kind of go like make a weird face at you. It's because they're not really excited about that comment, because so much work goes into this. Sure, Marc Martel's talented. He can sing, he can play piano, but he had to learn how to play piano. He had to learn how to sing. He had to practice this song. He had to learn how to record himself and make it sound good. You go down the line of things he's had to work towards to get to this point. You know, he's a hard worker. And on that glorious note by Marc Martel, we're going to end it right there. Thank you so much to Marc Martel. Fantastic. Thank you to Queen. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or recommendations for what I should react to next, leave them in the comments section below. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. The link is in the description. Love you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.
Love of my life, love of my life.